The last section had an exercise around making use of state inside of a class-based component. This was a somewhat challenging exercise, so let's go over the solution together right now. We have a component called clock, and the intent of it is to show the current time and update that time once per second. Inside of the component didMount method, we set up an interval right here. An interval is a built-in, or the setInterval function is a built-in JavaScript function. It's going to run this inner function, this arrow one right here, once every second. And so right now, once every second, we are taking the current time, printing it up as a nice little string, and assigning it to the this.time property. Now this code right here, it definitely works, but it does not update our component. At no point in time right now is the component ever going to be updated and show the updated time over here. So in order to make sure that we actually update our component and show the updated time on the screen, we need to set our time on state as opposed to this little instance variable of this.time. Whenever we assign a value to an instance variable, there is no automatic update of the component. Okay, so let's get to it. The first thing we'll do is initialize our state object up at the top of the class. So I'll say state is time, and I'm going to default the value of time to be an empty string like so. Now inside of the setInterval function, we don't need this.time or anything like that anymore. So I'm going to delete that reference, and I will replace it with a setState call. I'll say this.setState is going to be an object. We're going to update the time property, and I want the updated property to be new date dot to local time string, like so. Now notice that there is an E after local right there, like locale time string. So now every single second, we're going to run the setInterval. We're going to call setState, and that's going to cause our component to re-render itself automatically. Now the last thing we have to do is make sure that inside the render method, we do not reference this.time, because we're not making use of this.time anymore. Remember, that was kind of like a naive or bad approach to solve this problem. So I'm going to replace this.time with this.state.time instead. And now when I do so, you'll notice that we get the correct time printing out over here. Now there's one little optimization that we could do right here if we wanted to. At present, when we first initialize our state object, we're setting time to be an empty string. We could instead initialize it to be the current time. I don't know if you noticed it, but when the preview over here refreshed itself, there was a very brief period of time where we did not see the time appear at all. And that was because we had not yet updated our time property inside this setInterval. Just to give you a very quick example of that, I'm going to add a little like period right here, and then watch on the right-hand side. Yeah, you saw that there was like a little brief period of time there where there was no time. So if we wanted to, we could initialize our time property to be the same thing that you see right here. So I would say new date dot to local time string, like so. And now when our state is first initialized, we're going to get the current time, and then 1 second later, we're going to have the setInterval kick in and update the clock over here. All right, so that's pretty much it. I'm going to check my solution. And after a brief pause, yep, looks like we're good to go. All right, so that looks good. Let's continue in the next section, and we're going to start working on another project.